We are live now. I am going to wait to see who jumps on before we get started. All right. Okay, there we go. We got some people showing up. If you are watching, please say hi, state where you're from. I would love to see who we have tuning in. Okay, Chicago in the house, Midwest gang. Okay. All right. Hey. Okay, Texas in the building. What part of Texas are you from, Ashley? Okay. All right. Wait a few more seconds and then we're going to get started. Oh, hey, Charles. All right. Hey, Alex from Ohio. Okay. I'm from Michigan, so we're basically neighbors. Oh, small town in Texas. Okay. Okay. Love it. Hey. Oh, we got some more people from Texas. Okay. Texas is representing. All right. So we're about to get started. For those who don't know, I'm Cultured Cam. I have a travel and wellness blog, and I currently live in Portugal. I am the co-founder of Black in Portugal, and I've created this space to help people who are interested in moving abroad, having financial freedom, and creating community wherever they go. Oh, okay. So we got some people from Cape Town, South Africa. All right. Worldwide with it. So today we have two guests that are freelancers and have been able to move abroad and become digital nomads. So we're going to talk a little bit about their path to becoming freelancers, what it's looked like, some obstacles they overcame, how they found clients, how they've been able to thrive abroad. So without further ado, today we have Yomi and Chelsea joining us. Right. So, Yomi, can you
Hi.
tell us a little bit about yourself and your background? Oh, Yomi, you're muted right now.
Right, okay. Sorry. Okay, thank you, Cam. As Cam said, my name is Abayomi. I'm from Nigeria. I've been a freelancer and a digital marketer slash strategist for 7 years now. Working in 6 different countries, both remotely, in person, just moving around basically. What actually led to my journey in this being a digital nomad? So back when I was in university, I found my passion for digital marketing, and it was just something that I was just very much interested in. I tried my best to get as much knowledge as I could. I also have like this passion for traveling, and I saw that there were a lot of opportunities where I could actually, do what I love, make some money, and also see as many countries as possible. and it was a no-brainer. I just had to do it. So that was it for me. I just got on it, and I've been doing that ever since.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. And then we have Chelsea. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So my path is not linear. How I got into revenue operations and freelancing, I've had every job you can imagine. Like I waited tables, I've been a flight attendant, I worked in sales. Like I've done it all and learned skills along the way that have kind of molded where I am now and kind of pushed me into the path that I am right now. So I've been in this space about 7 years in revenue operations. And yeah, I love traveling. I think I left the United States as an escape, probably is what my family would say, like running away from the United States. I've kind of settled in Cape Town right now. This is like, it's going to be my base for sure after like traveling and not having a base. So I'm happy to be here and having a base and still being able to like explore the African continent and, countries on this side of the world. So yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Chelsea. So before we dive deeper into the questions, I know some of you probably are eager to learn about how they became freelancers. If you do have any questions, please put a Q before the questions so that we can answer your questions during the section for Q&A. So Yomi, I'm curious about, I know you spoke about your path to becoming a freelancer a little bit. Did you work a corporate job first before becoming a freelancer?
Okay, so actually, I still work a corporate job, and I'm also a freelancer at the same time. So for some people, it's easier for them to be full-time freelancers. But for me, I like the sense of security. I like to know that I still get my steady income, and I still get to work with other companies that I love. The company that I work with, I actually told them upfront that I've always been a freelancer. That's it for me. I'm not going to do the whole office official business. I'm always in the office. I'm not always going to be available. This is how it's going to be, and that's how they took it. And yeah, so I still work a corporate job. I've worked a couple of corporate jobs. I still work a corporate job, but I still do my freelancing on the side.
Okay. Yeah. And what exactly is a freelancer for those who are unsure of what freelancing really is?
Okay, so basically so freelancing is basically opportunities open to people. You don't have any commitment. You get a task, you get jobs. It's usually like based on a contract, short term. It could be 1 month. It could just be one time. You take as many jobs as possible. You do it. You get paid. So you're just freelancing. You're moving all around the place. You're getting as much experience, and also it's good money because most companies now, with the impact of COVID in 2020. They rather actually go with freelancers than hire people in-house. They will pay you well, just so they don't like have to hire and then go with all the benefits, and it's actually cheaper for them. It's good money for you. It's cheaper for them hiring freelancers than actually hiring full-time staff. At least with my experience, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, that is true, because with freelancers, companies don't worry about taxes. So it's up to the freelancer to handle all that, which makes it easier for the company. So Yomi, what is a digital marketer and strategist do? Okay,
so digital marketing in general is just it's as the name says, digital marketing. It's online marketing, basically. Search engine optimization, email marketing, paid ads, social media marketing. I can keep going, but you can do your research. For me, so a lot of people get into the field of digital marketing and choose to specialize in maybe search engine optimization or like paid ads or social media marketing. But I have problem with choices, so I couldn't pick, and I had to like do the whole thing. So I just decided to like go all in and just learn from every area and work in every area. Okay, so that's what I do. So basically, I come up with marketing strategies, digital marketing strategies for companies. So I create go-to-market plans. I consult for companies that just want to increase their digital presence. I create email marketing campaigns. I also do a bit of web development, as I told you. So I build websites. I also audit websites. I run ads. I'm a paid ad specialist. I work with companies also in the UK and in Poland in terms of paid ads. Basically, that's what I do. So digital marketing, I do the practical part, and then digital strategy. I come up with strategists with strategies for companies that maybe they just want to, get into a new market, or they just want you to audit their platform and create ideas and strategies for them.
That's impressive. So you do it all basically, which makes it great because you'll never be without opportunities, because companies are looking for those skill sets, and especially if they don't have someone in-house to do it. Many times companies will outsource that, and it's more project-based. So definitely great skills to have.
And I just want to say this, it's quite easy for me because it's my passion. So it's not for me, like I know people always say if you love what you do, you don't work in it. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to say it's not a lot of work, okay? But it's my passion. So for me, it's me just enjoying what I'm doing and just like having fun at the same time, getting paid to do what I love,
Okay, so you're doing more of the technical aspects of marketing versus, I mean, there's still creative elements to it, but you're more on the technical, analytical side of things, correct?
Yes.
Okay, nice. Chelsea, I know that me and you talked about your journey to becoming a freelancer, and I think it's a very inspiring journey, especially given the times that we're in right now. There's been a lot of layoffs happening. I would love for you to share how you got into freelancing and what was the catalyst to make you pivot into freelancing.
Yeah, sure. So I started freelancing. So I've been a part of 2 layoffs. So I was a part of COVID layoffs in 2020, where I was working a job, like pretty much doing what I'm doing now, for a company that was like a Salesforce implementation partner, Marketo, like marketing and technology systems. So I got laid off in COVID, and like obviously those first few months, and nobody was hiring. So I just started like honing in on my skills, really, like what else I can learn, like how can I sell these skills that I've picked up like in all these past jobs. And like I started doing my own research and kept looking for full-time employment, but started to entertain the idea of freelancing as just like backup income, because like at that point, like you get laid off from a job and like have nothing, right? Especially like in those times, like I needed income. So I looked into the realm of freelancing and what skills were out there that were in demand and which skills I had that were in demand, and started that way. And then I got hired a few months later after that. And I still kept like Yomi, like kept working my corporate job and freelancing on the side, and offering more services, building clientele, all of those kind of things. And then this past summer, in June, I was part of like just the overall tech layoffs. I've always worked in the tech industry. It's a volatile industry. It's always up and down. And I was laid off with the promise to come back. And I told myself after that, like and I already had been freelancing and had a bit of a clientele built up and projects I had been working on. So I basically told myself last June that if I could stay afloat for 6 months, I wouldn't go back to work. And 6 months made December. So I haven't gone back to work. I have, kind of bet on myself and continued in my freelance journey. And I'm really happy it's paying off. Like Yomi said, like companies would rather pay you whatever your rate is versus hiring someone full time and paying that person PTO and stock options. It gets really expensive. So I love freelancing. I don't ever see myself going back to a corporate position. I enjoy the freedom and flexibility. And of course, like the income is substantial.
Wow, that's incredible. Like you betting on yourself for 6 months and like being able to scale your freelancing business. And like Charles said, you look happy. I know you're happy. You're thriving. And it's crazy how certain things transpire, but it pushes us to do the things that we need to do, to take chances on ourselves, to start that business, to learn that skill. So it's a really incredible thing that you're doing, Chelsea. And I'm curious about what exactly what a revenue operations consultant does. I know that you said that you were doing something similar in a previous role.
Yeah. So in the corporate world, this is like marketing operations, sales operations, and then revenue operations is a growing title, like in the scene in marketing and technology. So there's two parts in revenue operations: the revenue part and the operations part. Revenue basically means all the pieces in a business that generate revenue. So for a small business, that might just be sales and marketing. For an enterprise business, that might mean sales, marketing, customer success. So basically every part of the business that is tasked with bringing in revenue to a team. And the operations side is the systems and processes on those teams. So my job as a revenue operations consultant is to go into these businesses and align those teams, sales, marketing, customer success, and their systems and processes with an end goal of making the company more money. When things take longer, they eat up corporate time, they eat up budget time. So my job is to go in and make these processes that allow those teams to work seamlessly together to make the company more money.
Okay. And I know that we talked about how much this is needed, especially during these times where companies are doing mass layoffs. How were you able to see that there was an opportunity to pivot into that?
Yeah. So I used to work in like the Salesforce Marketo world. So if you're not familiar, Salesforce is a customer relationship management tool. You probably see it on billboards in airports. They sponsor arenas. Basically, every company in the world has something like Salesforce. If you don't have Salesforce, if you're not enterprise and you don't have Salesforce, you have HubSpot or you have Monday.com or some other system keeping your company records in place. So if you work for a company that has one of those systems and any type of software, I think me and you have talked about this, like learn the software. If you can learn the software of whatever job you're doing, you can be a specialist in that software. And that's kind of where I started. Like I was a specialist in HubSpot, and those were the jobs I was targeting. And it's really easy. Like once you market yourself as such on LinkedIn, I know we're going to get into like some websites that you could list your services and things like that. As long as when you start marketing that you're an expert in this software, or because these companies have spent so much money on these solutions, and usually no one internally knows how to work it, or they don't have the bandwidth to work it. So my advice is always to learn the software, and especially like they're laying off the people that bought the software and wanted the software, and now nobody knows how to use the software. So whether you're an email marketer or an accountant, learn the software, learn how to implement it, learn how to make the adjustments and the updates to the system, and you'll be able to find work. I'm confident in that.
Yeah, Chelsea, you are able to really see the gaps that companies have and fill that. You're like, I'm always going to have opportunities coming my way because I know I'm a specialist in certain areas where they don't even have that in-house. So I think it's really important to see the gaps and be able to see what skills you have or what softwares you can learn and then use that to your advantage. And I know that people are always messaging you on LinkedIn about different opportunities. So that's just proof that it's good to up your skills. So question for both of you. What are the benefits of becoming a freelancer?
Yeah, I can go first. So benefits. Freedom, flexibility, like you make your own schedule, you work when you want to work. Like I don't like to work Fridays, so I don't work Fridays. Like if you have doctor's appointments, if you want to take a week off to just recharge, like that's all up to you. You don't have anyone to answer to. Active clients, be professional about it. But yeah, it's 100% the freedom for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So as Chelsea said, definitely the freedom, and the flexibility. It's just easy, it's easier than just like doing the same thing over and over again. Like for me, it's you get to actually have multiple experiences, multiple streams of income, which is
Mhm.
nice. Because if you ever plan, like the best part about freelancing for me is it gives you a peek into different places. So as I told you earlier, I said I've worked in 6 countries so far. I've been able to get all the knowledge I can from those different places, running market research, doing a lot of things. And like it just you get a lot of knowledge, like you just get as much information as you can that actually helps you to get more clients, reach more people. It's just honestly, it's all upsides for me. The downside, I'm gonna say, I need to say this,
Okay.
because it's not just this. It's sometimes it's flexible and all, but sometimes you don't have like because you don't have like the regular time, the 8 to 5. Sometimes at midnight you're working, or at 1 a.m. you're working, or if you're working
Mhm.
in different time zones, that could be crazy sometimes. But trust me, it's mainly positives than negatives.
Yeah, that is important to note because
Sure.
oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Chelsea, you can go. Uh,
No, I was just gonna echo that. It's not easy. Like you said, like you're working crazy time zones. If you want to take that week off, there's no PTO. So, you have to be really responsible
mhm.
about your time and money in those situations as well. With great freedom comes great responsibility. So you
Yes.
shouldn't abuse your own freedom for sure.
Exactly. So that is very important to note. You are your own boss. So you have to manage your own finances when it comes to freelancing, paying your own taxes. You don't have taxes being taken out. So you have to manage everything, keep receipts to write things off on your taxes. You have to be able to plan your projects accordingly if you want to take breaks and go on holiday. You have to make sure that maybe you're taking on extra projects if you know that for a week you're not going to get paid. These are
Yeah.
just certain things to think about. It does come a lot, there is a lot of responsibility when it comes to freelancing, but you also have a lot of freedom as well. So there's definitely pros and cons. How do you both find clients to work with?
Okay, I can go first. So I'm just gonna say, so I think I saw that question, getting the first client, and I'm gonna just use both of them to just explain this. So
Mhm.
when I started getting my first client, for me, I to be honest with you, um, I had some experience, but I had to do some free work. I'm being honest here. I needed to build the portfolio. Okay, because you getting clients is not the problem. Getting good clients is the problem. You
Mm,
can get a lot of people that are not like you can get a lot of clients. They want you to work. They want you to work for cheap. It's possible. You want to get good clients. You need to build that portfolio. You need to build that experience. You need to build the skills. I had to do some free work. And then because of that, I got a lot of referrals. Okay, a lot of my clients come from referrals because you need to make sure that even when you get clients, you need to do a good job.
mhm.
That would actually keep pushing you, and you would actually reach more people. Okay, because to be honest with you, at least 60% of the jobs that I get come from people I've worked with in the past.
Okay.
So yeah, building good relationships, that matters.
That's really important to note because a lot of times people want the financial abundance and you deserve it, but sometimes it's more important to get that experience first. And
Yeah.
then once people see what you're capable of, they're going to continue to refer you to other people. You can showcase your portfolio on LinkedIn. You can create more visibility around the work that you are able to do.
Also, let me add something. I don't know if you're still gonna ask us this later, but I'm just gonna say it. So there's also some websites that I use where I actually get clients. It's not Fiverr. Fiverr is like the popular one everyone uses, but there's a couple. There's one called dynamitejobs.com. There's one
Okay.
of them. There's another one called contra.com. So those are websites that actually you get a lot of gigs. Like it's not like Fiverr where you would find people telling you they want to pay you $1 for like a job. If you want like good clients, you want people that are actually realistic, you can use Dynamite Jobs, you can use Contra, you will get good people.
Okay, yes. So we are going to talk more about resources that you all can use to find clients, to find different projects to work on. And I'll make sure at the end of the live that I post a comment and I'll pin it so people are able to go to these websites and use these resources.
Yeah.
Okay. And Chelsea, how do you find clients to work with?
So at this stage, a lot of my clients are return customers or referrals at this point, but I also files on a couple of different websites. And I know both of you, like Fiverr gets a bad rep, but I actually got my first client on Fiverr, and there is a lot of riffraff on there, and there is a lot to like peel through. But at the same time, like at one point, I had a client on Fiverr that was paying me like $13,000 a month. So for the riffraff, like you might get one gem. So like I wouldn't, like, yeah. Like, so like no bag left behind. Like you will, there are like corporations like looking for clients and stuff. So Fiverr gets a bad rep. I don't, I'm not actively on there looking for work, but occasionally like someone drops in and they want to spend some money. So I keep the profile up. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Mostly I see people using it for like cheaper projects, like, $5 an hour or things like that. But it is good to know that you were able to find a client that was going to paid you $13,000 a month. That's incredible. Wow. Okay. And
yeah,
I did want to ask, what are some websites to find freelancing gigs? I know, Yomi, you touched on 2 websites. You said Dynamite, right? And Contra? Is there any other websites that either one of you know to find freelance gigs? I know Upwork is another popular.
I'm gonna add this.
yeah.
The company that I work for in the UK, Cam, you know them.
Mhm.
They like to hire a lot of digital professionals around the world.
Mhm.
It's a marketing firm, but they also create content. They do a lot of other things in tech, and they're always looking for new people. The company is called Crowd. So they call them crowders. You can go to their platform, and if you have the skill, because they will test you before. It's a new process. They didn't used to test, but now they're testing people to see if you actually have the skills you say you have. They pay really well. You actually set the rates that you want. You can set as much as £30 an hour, or £40 or £50 an hour, up to you. Okay. So they would give you tasks, and you just need to complete them at the right deadline. And the more tasks you do, the more tasks you get, and they pay you immediately. Like they pay you when they should pay you. Okay, it's really good money. That's another place you can check out.
Okay. And it's Crowd with a U.
Yeah,
not
Crowd.
W.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Huh? Would you say, Chelsea?
Oh no, you go ahead. I was just gonna say like Upwork, and the pay schedule there, and how you set your rate. And like if your rate is $50 an hour, whatever your rate is, you can when they post jobs, they are required to put their budget in. So it's a little more flexibility versus Fiverr, and like just weeding things out. Like if your rate is $50 an hour and their budget is 10, like let's just keep it moving.
It's not aligned, but that's okay because you have choices. The only thing I would add to Upwork is make sure that it says payment verified, because there are some scams on Upwork, people posting fake jobs. So I would only apply to opportunities that say payment verified. All right. And I know that being a freelancer means that you're your own boss. How do you manage your time effectively as a freelancer, since maybe you have multiple clients? What are some tools or techniques that you both use to stay organized and productive?
Yeah. So freelancing is like, not only are you working for yourself, like freelancing is a business. Like you might just be a business of one, but it's a business. You have to sell, you have to market, you have to do the finances, you have to do the project management, the organization. Like you're a one person show. It's a business and you have to run it. So I quite like, for organization and just like my own sanity and keeping track of all clients' notes and who's paid me and who hasn't, who's due on what. So I keep Notion. It's like basically like an online like journal handbook. I don't know, like what. So I love Notion. You can create like pages for like, I have a folder for like, okay, like clients and all their onboarding documents and time tracking and all those type of things. And also like my to-do list for the week, for the day, for the month, those type of things. So it's like a nice central place to keep everything organized. When I'm on calls, like that's where I'm jotting my notes down under each client's record. So that's really nice. I really highly recommend Notion for not even just like in freelancing, like in life. Get you a free Notion account. I also use, you have to figure out how you're gonna invoice people. I use FreshBooks. I love FreshBooks. That's how you invoice people. It also has a time tracking tool in there. If you're like hourly and you're charging people by the hour, it's got a built-in like time tracker, as well as how you get paid. So it's also like a payment processor. So you send invoice and people can pay via credit card, that type of thing, or bank transfer. It's relatively cheap. And of course you have a lot of people have like your Zoom subscriptions, like all of those type of things, whether you're, whatever it's going to be. So Notion, get you a time tracking tool like FreshBooks or invoicing.
You said FreshBooks?
Those are my babies. That's what I have to use.
Okay.
Yeah, FreshBooks.
FreshBooks. And then, I love Notion so much. Like I use it. Oh my God, I use it religiously. So you can use it to track your progress on a certain project. You can integrate Google Docs on there, so you can have your spreadsheets or your Google Sheets, or you can have your documents. There's a lot that you can do with Notion. It's just like a one-stop shop for like all things work related, organizing and getting your life. And I use it. So I definitely agree with Chelsea that it's an important tool to use. Yomi, what are some tools you use to stay organized and productive?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about Notion, because I also use Notion. I use Notion, I use Trello. So the thing is this, as a marketer, I use a lot of tools. So, to be honest with you, it's all over the place in my head. But one tool that I know that I use a lot, if you were gonna go into marketing as a freelancer, is Monday.com. I don't know if you know Monday.com. It's like Salesforce, but it's a cheaper version. It helps you to manage your whole process in marketing, the whole flow, your workflow, how everything goes. You manage your clients, manage all of that. So Monday.com, Trello, Notion. I take notes with so I use Evernote too sometimes, because I have like separate clients in separate countries. So I have to like separate whatever I'm doing and make sure that they're organized. There's a bunch of tools. I can send them to you after the call. It's all over my,
and I'll definitely post it on the YouTube as well as the Facebook page. And some people also use Asana, which is a project management tool. If you have certain deadlines that you need to meet, you can go ahead and put it in there. You can make reoccurring tasks. It's just something to help you stay on top of things. And a lot of these tools you can integrate with, you can use Google Workspace, so you can see things on your calendar. And that way you're just keeping track of everything that you need to do, because when you're a freelancer, you're your own boss and you really have to make sure that everything is as organized as possible. Chelsea, I do have a question geared towards you, since you're from the US. What is the best type of business to register for freelancers in the US?
For sure. So I have an LLC. I think it's the standard small business business to register. I would, if you're going to be a traveler, like I recommend like a state with no sales taxes and somewhere where you can get like a registered agent. Um, Delaware is preferred. Like Philly is home for me, so Delaware is just the option. But lots of people register their business with Delaware as they have like some of the lowest fees, and they act as your registered agent when you're abroad as well. So yeah, I would register an LLC in a state with no sales tax, preferably state taxes, like Delaware.
Okay.
And the taxes are reasonable. I feel like LLC versus like if you were just you want to do a sole owner LLC.
Okay. Yes, and that's a good point, because some people are 1099, so they don't actually have their business registered, and you typically are taxed at a different rate. If you are a 1099 contractor, the tax rate is a lot higher. So why do you recommend registering as a business versus just doing 1099 contracts?
Yeah, for the write-offs.
Yeah.
So you can write more things off, like as an LLC business. Like like everything, like all your Zoom subscriptions, it's easier to write those business expenses off versus like if you're a 1099 and a contractor and filing just like as a head of household or something like that. So bill as your business, like I bill everyone as my business, get paid as the business, and file your taxes as the business.
Okay.
Is the best way to keep the most of your money, especially when you're abroad and you don't want to be subjected to taxes in the United States.
Smart.
You're going to pay some taxes, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
the rate is much
avoid them completely. But the goal is to be able to write things off on your taxes and not have to pay like an OD amount of taxes. Okay. And this question is for both of you.
Yeah.
For those who want to pivot into freelancing from a 9 to 5, what is some advice you can give them?
Don't quit your day job yet. Freelancing, like we've talked about all the good things in freelancing, but it can be volatile, like for real. Like it can be like up and down. There's good high seasons where you're gonna make a lot of money, and then it gets low and you're like, okay, I'm making half of what I made last year. Like, let's pump the brakes. And I think that you need to see a pattern in that, so you know what your budget is and your lifestyle should be before you just up and quit stable income. I mean, my circumstances were different. I didn't really have a choice. But if you have a choice still, I would recommend staying at your full-time job, your corporate job, and learning those skills like after work. Like learning those skills after work. Start putting out your feelers on some of those websites we talked about, and see if you can get a client. Also, something we didn't touch on is joining like organizations and groups regarding your specialty, like Black Marketers of America Association, things like that, where like people are in the same space as you and they're looking for freelancers as well, or they want to plug someone that's in their own community. So get involved and join, whatever, organizations are available to you in your specialty and in your path. I mean, I feel like there's an organization for everything these days. And network. And then after you've gotten some jobs and your side hustle is making some money and your side hustle is making some money, make that decision. I think a good judge is when you're so busy with your side hustle and you're like, okay, like, is my real job keeping me from making more money with my side hustle? Should my side hustle be my main thing? And I think that that's the decision of like, let the corporate job go. But I would not quit my corporate job first until I had some clients and had some networking in place and knew what type of money I needed to sustain my lifestyle.
And that makes a lot of sense, because some things take time. You're not necessarily going to start freelancing and become a success overnight. And you may, but there's really no way to tell, because you do have to build up that clientele. You do have to find different projects. And like you spoke about, there's high and low seasons. So, you might be starting out in a low season, or you might be starting out in a high season, and you got to kind of have to ride the wave a little bit to see how you're going to be able to sustain yourself long term. Just because something is going unwell for 3 months doesn't mean that it won't pick up, or vice versa. And somebody asked, what determines the high and low seasons? Chelsea, can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I think it really depends on your industry. But for me in tech, since most of my work revolves around the technology and software industry, I work on like my high and low seasons coincide with when the high and low seasons are for sales and software. And that's for me the end of the year. Like November and December are dead. You got to think like people take off December for the holidays and they don't work to the new year. So you can count on December being pretty low and slow. I mean, for me too, because like I don't want to work in December as well. I want to work as little as possible. And then sometimes in the summer as well. Versus like after New Year's, everything's just like everyone's getting back to work and they've got goals they need to smash, new this, new that. So like January, February can be very hectic and very busy. So I think it just depends on what your specialty is, and are you depending on sales of something, and then find out like if you're depending on the sale of something to work with that product, then you need to find out from someone in sales like when are you making the most commission, the lowest commission, those type of things, because it happens. So I think it just depends. And again, more research, more taking your time and knowing your pathway and your clientele.
Okay. And it also depends on the industry, like you spoke about. So it's going to vary from person to person, it sounds like. But if you are working in the tech field or tech industry, probably going to be slower at the end of the year and in the summer. Okay. And Yomi, what about you? Yeah.
As Chelsea said, don't quit your day job. I would say that because I still have my day job, so please don't. The one thing I can say to just add to what Chelsea has said is get as many skills as possible. Okay. If you're going to be a freelancer, you need to understand the fact that the world is changing. It's not the same. It's never the same. Like whatever skill you think you have right now is going to be obsolete really soon. You need to keep updating yourself, upgrading yourself, learn as many things as possible. When I started, I probably just was in maybe one area. I just had to like keep learning. Like now I'm trying to get into app development, trying to get in like different areas because that's what's happening. You can't just stay stagnant and just feel, I just got paid this amount of money. I feel comfortable. No, you need to actually keep moving if you're actually going to get there. So I think Chelsea actually said it also. That's just my little piece of advice to just add to what she said.
Yeah. And I would agree.
When the season is high, like on the gas.
What?
On the gas?
No, I was just saying when the season is high and the money is coming, that's when you don't let up. Like foot on the gas, like you have to go because like the debt is coming. So like Yomi said, like just because you've made X amount of money, like don't go off to Europe and blow it. Keep working hard and capitalizing on that. So
exactly. And it's really important to still keep your day job until you get to a place where you do have that success, because you're not really sure, especially given the times that we're in with the layoffs happening. It's good to just work on building that skill set and finding clients and just honing in on your craft and using resources to learn more. Like Udemy is an incredible resource to learn digital marketing skills, web development, app development. You can learn pretty much anything on Udemy. And if you are in the US and you have a library card, you can get free courses on there. Also using YouTube to learn certain skills. There's so many free resources out there for you to take yourself to the next level professionally. And I would definitely utilize them if you can. All right. So I think we kind of talked on this a little bit, but what are challenges that you faced when transitioning into a freelancing career, and how did you overcome this? And Chelsea, you can start.
Yeah, I'll start. So I'll just go back to like the high-low season. Like I remember like, I started doing this full time like last year. So I'm coming up on my 1 year mark. And I had a period where I was bringing it in. Like I was bringing it in. And then like, I wasn't prepared for December. Like I was not prepared for December at all. Like for it to like die and be slow. So essentially everything you make, like you need to make it up until October. Like if you need $10,000 to live, like you need to have that money for November and December, because at least for me, like I've learned my lesson. Like it's not going to come, like it's going to come slow. It's going to come stressful. It's going to come delayed after the first of the year, but your bills and everything doesn't wait for that. So I think the best thing you can do is save, be smart about your spending habits. And you're going to have those high months and low months, and put to the side which you don't need. Like, I said, like I've made some mistakes, like in the beginning and things like that. I think it's easy to make those mistakes, right? Like you're so excited. You're just like, oh, cash. But like it's a business. You need to run it. You need to prepare for rainy days, that type of thing. So yeah. Is that your question? Or I just want to rant.
Yes. So about like the obstacles you've had to overcome becoming a freelancer. So definitely making sure that you have money saved and not splurging when you start making some cash, because you got to make sure that if you have a corporate job, you can put money into 401k. You can allocate things a little bit more easily, but when you're a freelancer, you have to put money aside for a rainy day, for your retirement, for your health care. So these are things to think about.
Okay, so for me, this is something that you need to prepare your mind for. Is you need to get ready for a lot of rejections. Because if you are not mentally prepared at first, it's not always, you're not just gonna get jobs like that. Some of them you're gonna get rejected. It's gonna get to you. You need to actually brace yourself for that. Until you get that client that can keep, like, that pushes you get the momentum. Yeah, that's it. That's it. But before you get there, there's gonna be some rejections. There's gonna be some downsides. It gets really, really, really sad. Also, you need to create a structure for yourself, because if you're not careful, if you don't have a structure, you could actually it could be worse. Freelancing could be worse than your day job. It's that bad, because if you are, for example, in my situation, when I started, I had a bunch of clients. I remember there was a time I was working on market research for 4 different companies at the same time, and I had days when I wouldn't sleep. Maybe like there was a time I went like 48 hours without sleep. If you don't actually have that structure, you don't use those tools, that you don't actually set the boundaries for yourself, you would work so hard, you would not even have time to spend the money you're making. So yeah, you need to actually set that structure so that you can actually enjoy the benefits of freelancing and being flexible and all of that. Don't be a workaholic, trust me. Don't do it. It doesn't help. Yeah, it doesn't help anyone. You need to actually set out time for mental health breaks.
Yes.
Take a vacation, relax.
Exactly.
Don't just work all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really important to take breaks.
Yeah, can I add something?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, I just want to add that along with setting boundaries for yourself, like you need to be able to advocate for yourself. You have to set boundaries with clients as well. Like people sometimes think like you're a freelancer, they can, call you out all hours of the weekend, all hours of the day. If they've paid for X amount of hours, they'll try to take advantage of that and, work over and ask you for things that are outside of the scope of what they've originally paid for. If you're not the type of person that can, like, at your corporate job, like say, hey, like actually no, or actually I have a problem with this, or this is not what I agreed to. If you have a problem with that, you should get good at it before you start freelancing, because there's going to be a lot of that, like project scope and people taking advantage of your time as a freelancer and your skills. So I think that's huge as well. It's like, if you're not an assertive person, you better learn how.
I'm just gonna add to what Chelsea said. You need to as you said, you need to set boundaries with clients. You need to have a contract, okay? Because I remember when I first started, I had a couple companies trying to take advantage. You do the work, they don't pay you the money, or they don't pay you on time. Uh, in that situation, a lawyer would come in handy. Don't just think because you're a freelancer, they like don't let them think they can take advantage of you. Trust me. I've had to threaten a couple of lawsuits to get paid. Yeah, that happens. Like it was like you work for them, you tell them this is this, pay this. They don't want to pay. You don't have anyone chase them for the money. You have to do that. You have to be ready for that. It's not as easy as it is. There's a lot of fight in it, but it's good. It's still good. Like it's best decision I've made. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's given both of you the freedom to live abroad and be digital nomads. How are you able to find roles that allow you, or maybe explain to people how freelancing allows you or gives you the opportunity to live anywhere in the world? Could you talk about that a little bit, Chelsea?
Yeah. So, I mean, with freelancing, in my experience, like I worked remote even like before COVID. So like that's just the nature of the role that I am. It's mostly done remotely. So it's pretty much the same in freelancing. You occasionally run across the client that, they have time zone preferences, or they have, it sounds a bit problematic, but they want, English speaking people from America, like those type of people, because, when you're freelancing, you're competing with global talent. So that comes into play. But for the most part, like, they don't know where I am. Like, if it comes up, it comes up. But for the most part, like, it doesn't. They like, can you log in when they need you to log in? Is your internet working? Can you do what you're supposed to be doing? And it never really comes up, honestly. I have long-term relationships, and they know that, I'm always moving around, I'm traveling, and most of them are okay with it. I've never had an issue with a client being like, actually, we want you here. Like, as long as I can log in at 4 Eastern or 7 Pacific, yeah, which, accounts for me working a lot of late nights here in South Africa. Like, my work day here is like from 3 to midnight on a good day. But there are occasions where I'm taking meetings at like 3 a.m. So, yeah, that's freelancing as well. Like, you need to be flexible. Your clients could be anywhere. Like, the bag could be in Australia. You got to wake up,
Yeah.
So if you're not that type of person that wants to, you want to work a set amount of hours, like, it's probably not for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you have multiple clients. I think it might be a little bit easier if you only have one client. However, it seems better to have multiple clients so that you can make sure that, when one contract ends, you still have revenue coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, go ahead.
You absolutely need more than one client.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is for me, as Chelsea also said, like sorry, Cam said that it allows us, it gives you the flexibility. That's the whole idea of freelance in the first place. You don't have to always be in the office. It helps you make enough money to travel and live in other countries. It's cool. And as you've noticed, a lot of companies are creating this whole digital nomad visa. Every country is doing it right now. It's easy. As long as you make a certain amount of income and you promise to pay taxes, they just want your money actually. You can live anywhere you want right now. So freelance actually helps you do that. Just make sure that whatever country you're moving to is in a good time zone for you and your clients. Don't because it's gonna affect you sometimes. Like you could be in as Cam said, I was working with a client in Australia once also, and I had to I had a client in a different time zone. I had to work during the day, and then at night I had to be up to work through the night. And then when do I sleep? You need to also manage this. But yeah, it gives you the opportunity to travel, the money for that, and all of that. It's really good.
Yeah, that's why, like you said, it's important to pick a time zone that is probably like the most neutral, I would say. And that's the one thing, well, that's one thing I really love about living in Portugal. And then even in South Africa, we have a similar time zone. So it makes it so that you could work American time zones, European, even Asian time zones, depending on where your clients are. So that's
Yeah.
something to think about if you are wanting to become a digital nomad. Where could you make your home base that would be good for you to create a schedule to work with various clients?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you both establish a solid client base, and what strategies do you use to maintain long-term relationships with your clients?
Okay, so for me, I I try my best to make sure, like, so that for me, like, I understand the importance of building good relationships. Okay,
Mhm.
when you do a good job, you sell yourself without selling yourself. It's very easy. Like, they would always bring you new clients. Like, it's just how it works. Okay, you have a good relationship with them. Trust me, working with clients, you guys will probably have a couple of clashes. It's normal. That happens. But always make sure that it stays within the respectful area, and it doesn't go past that. You have the mutual respect. You make sure that you build a good relationship. You do a good job. You would definitely get. They would refer you to people. Okay. So for me, no matter the client I meet, I make sure that I respect them. I do their job really well, and that's how I just build my client base. Like, they always come back. And, yeah.
Yeah. Your work will speak for itself. And then also your likability is really important too. Do people enjoy working with you? It's one thing
Yeah.
to do the job well, but do people actually like working with you is another component of it. And Chelsea, how do you
Yeah,
find, yep.
yeah. So the same, like nurturing those relationships, but also like your work speaks for you. Like always
Mhm.
do your job, always communicate, even if you can't do it, if you're running into issues, if you need additional support. I think all clients really care about is being in a loop and communicating. Like,
Yeah.
you don't miss deadlines. Like, if you tell them something's going to be done on X day, like deliver on X day, or let them know way in advance that you can't deliver on X day, because you know in my job, in my line of work, like somebody's job is on the line if they spent all this money on me to like fix something, and they went through all of these channels to get approval to hire this freelancer, and then you still don't deliver. Like, that looks bad on the person that hires you, and they could be in trouble with their employment on that. So always try to do a good job and leave the person that hired you with them looking good in their position. Like, make them look good, that you've helped them. And I think that goes a long ways. I also like keep a list of clients and their emails. I try to like
Mhm.
just check in like every quarter, how things are going. Those type of things. I always send like a nice little Christmas gift, like even if it's just like a $5 Starbucks card. Like, send a
Yeah.
little something, like a little Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays email, something like that. And then always, I cannot speak enough about the power of LinkedIn as a professional tool.
Mhm.
I think even when an engagement is over or a project is over, like, you connect with those people and you connect with everybody you worked with. Like, one person hires you, but maybe you touched hands and work with 3 or 4 different people in the organization. Like,
Okay.
connect with everybody, ask them to leave you recommendations on your LinkedIn page, those type of things. And yeah, like, it's a powerful networking tool and a great way to like keep in touch. They change jobs, and you're aware of that on LinkedIn. If they change a job or get promotion, it's just a way to like always make sure you're in the front of their head, should they need services again.
Yeah, that's a very important thing to note. And just having that visibility on LinkedIn, um, having those recommendations so people can see that you actually deliver quality work, and that people enjoy working with you. So definitely use LinkedIn, and even searching for opportunities, for freelance opportunities. I'm not sure if any of you have like outreach to companies via LinkedIn for opportunities. Because I know we talked about finding clients on Upwork through referrals, as well as Fiverr, Crowd, and Contra. But have you ever reached out to people on LinkedIn to find new clients to work with?
The great thing
Actually,
about
I've
LinkedIn.
gotten.
Oh,
Okay. No, Chelsea, go ahead.
okay. Sorry guys, I think there might be a delay on my side, so I'm just like missing it. But yeah, so the good thing about LinkedIn is like once you market yourself on LinkedIn as a freelancer and what your specialty is, like they come to you. Like that's what I love about LinkedIn. Like occasionally, like people will make posts needing something, and like those clients will like tag you in the status, like, "Oh, I worked with X person; they did a great job. Like,
Mhm.
reach out," or plugging you here. So I've never reached out to anyone on LinkedIn, but I've been tagged in a number of posts, like from previous
Mhm.
clients, and like DMs are on fire. Like there's a headline in LinkedIn, like above your name, and
Mhm.
that's the search. You're basically your search. So if you put in there, like for Yomi, hashtag digital marketing, hashtag freelancer, hashtag available for hire, and Google Analytics, etc. Like when people are looking for contractors, freelancers on LinkedIn, which is what they're doing, his name is going to pop up like right on the top of that. And with those recommendations on his page, his they will reach out to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say exactly the same thing. On LinkedIn, they actually they reach out to you. As she said, you have the hashtags. There's also a space for you to add your portfolio. You can add
Mhm.
like the things you've worked on. You get people actually reach out to you. Like that's like a huge thing, especially if you have like a lot of experience. They can see your work. Everything's right there. You don't have to chase anyone. They will come to you. That's it.
Yeah. And your work will speak for itself.
Yeah.
So that's incredible that you've been able to market yourself on LinkedIn and have people reach out to you and being tagged in posts. So it creates that visibility. Because if you also interact with posts, it'll come up on your timeline. So maybe some of your LinkedIn connections might see that you are working on certain projects and they might reach out to you if anything comes up. So definitely utilize LinkedIn. Take advantage of the fact that there's so many cool tools on there. You can network with people. You can update your headline so that you can attract potential clients. So these are just important things to know when pivoting into freelancing. And I'm curious, what have been some of your most successful projects as a freelancer, and what made you both stand out from others?
Oh, okay. So I'll go first. So I'm just gonna use the project I ran recently. This was late last year. So there was a client I had from Canada that wanted a go-to-market plan for the African market. And they were trying to get into the market. They had spoken to a couple of people that just gave them like vague ideas, like do this, do that. What made me stand out was I put in the extra work, did a lot, did like told them I needed time to do market research.
Mhm.
I found I found all the because the thing with marketing is this: you in this day and age, it's not based on your gut anymore. It's based on data,
Yeah.
and the fact that they understood that okay, this is somebody that actually does meticulous work. He's checking, he's looking through, he's making sure that he gets the right information, right data. That was what made me stand out. And I told them, you based on this data, you need to run this strategies and this strategy, and then use. I remember I also recommended influencer marketing, which they
Mhm.
used, and they were able to get into the market like within the first 3 months, ton of profit. It was based on the marketing strategies that were already created for them. It was really good. So that's the thing. Like, it's not just about like the one thing I'm gonna say is this: never feel too confident. You don't know anything. Trust me. Always, because there's a certain point you get to, you feel very confident. You feel I know what I'm doing. I can
Mhm.
get any client. I can do this, do that.
Mhm.
Just stay humble, no matter how much money you make. It helps a lot. So yeah, for me, the project was really huge. They got into the market, they got like good results. They're still getting good results based on the plan I came up with them in that was last year. So yeah, that was still one of my best my best project I worked on.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is important to be humble and realize that like we live in a ever-changing market. So if you are realizing that there's always room for growth and there's opportunities to learn, you're always going to be hungry to grow yourself. And if you're just complacent, then you're not able to get ahead and make yourself stand out from other people. Chelsea, what are some projects or what has been your most successful project and what made you stand out from others?
Yeah, for sure. So I've got a lot of work that I'm proud of, but one of them, like just my favorite client, like one of my favorite clients ever, and I'll name drop because I have permission. But it's a startup called Growth Therapy. They essentially like help match therapists and licensed social workers to people, like making therapy more accessible. And if you go on their site, you can sign up as a provider. So if you're a therapist or a social worker, you can sign up to be a provider and basically start your growth therapy like practice. So if you go click that button, like everything that happens after that button, like I built from like the ground up. So I'm pretty proud of that. And when I started working with them, they had no funding. Like everything was kind of like in array. Like it wasn't array. Like they had great people working with the team, and like everyone was really committed to the team and the work that they were doing there because it's such important work. But they recently got like $25 million this year in funding. So I'm happy for them. And like, it's especially when I work with startups and smaller businesses, it's like always happy for them to like get grow. Cause like, that's my job is to help them like get money and grow. So I feel like I'm part of like that when they get funding or go public and things like that. So I'm always proud of that. And standing out, like I think how you stand out is just like doing your best work. Like don't offer something you can't deliver. And what you can deliver, like deliver. So yeah, that will always set you apart. There are a lot of people out here like, advertising and offering services and, doing shady jobs with them. So they're like, just like there's clients that are scammers, they're freelance scammers out there, like people that just take people's money and don't deliver. So and there's a lot of trust that they have. We have to trust them that they're going to pay us, and they have to trust us that we're going to deliver. And I think like building trust is like another way to like build those client relationships, just delivering and only providing what you can actually do.
Yeah, definitely. And it's important when you build, when you are like building up your portfolio and you're making connections and you have clients, if you know that you have a good relationship with a certain client, they'll refer you to other clients that are trustworthy. So that's why it's kind of good to get a feel for something. And if you want to continue a relationship, then you can continuously find other projects from that client. Okay, so we do have a question. Let's see. Are there escrow services that maybe one of you uses for your freelance business?
So I mean, you should always like set up your own like 401k. You have to like do stuff like that. So I have like a Vanguard account and a Fidelity account. They don't necessarily like target or freelancers, it's more like business owners, but they work just the same. So I recommend you search and finding out how you can do like an individual 401k is what they're called. Yeah. Okay, Vanguard's great. Low fees.
Yeah, I love Vanguard. I got a Vanguard account after I had my first job out of college, and it's awesome. Do you also set aside money quarterly for taxes? How do you go about that, or do you wait till the end of the year when it's time to start filing your taxes?
Yeah, at some point when you're full-time, you're gonna need to find an accountant to help you just
Mm,
like manage it. I mean, not you don't need like something, big four financial firm to like manage your stuff, but find someone you trust, like a tax person that can advise you on your taxes and what you should be putting away quarterly. I try to pay like a little bit quarterly so I'm not like depressed
mhm.
every year when the
Yeah.
final total comes around. So like find an accountant or a tax person in the states that you trust to advise you on what you should be putting aside every month, what percentage, or come to some type of amount of money that you can divide out every month to make sure you're safe during Uncle Sam season.
Yes, and it is tax season here in Portugal, and it was in the US, but I definitely filed an extension because it can get a little bit tricky when you're a digital nomad. If you're country hopping and you're from the US, then you have to file taxes, but if you're making under six figures, you don't owe any taxes. So it does get a little complicated. So maybe having somebody that understands how to do expat taxes. And then also, if you are staying in a country for probably at least 183 days or so, you're going to want to do taxes in that country and in your home country as well. Okay. I just saw we have another question. How much do you spend on an accountant? Yomi, I'm not sure if you have an accountant, so maybe you can speak on that. And then Chelsea, since you were already speaking on that, how much would you say?
Yeah. Sorry, I think we froze, or I froze. No.
Okay.
So I think it just depends on what you're asking your accountant to do. My accountant just does my taxes, and we have some quarterly meetings to make sure that she knows how much money I made each quarter and how much I should be putting to the side. She charges me a flat fee for that services, and it's like $3,500 a year. So small investment. I mean, she's really good. You want a referral? Let me know. But yeah, we'll see if she's taking on new clients. But I think it just depends on like the market, and like you're gonna get someone super experienced what their specialty is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think hourly chat. So all those websites we mentioned, freelancers are good places to find freelance accountants as well.
Okay. Yomi, what about you? Oh, you're muted. Mhm.
Sorry about it. I said no, I don't have an accountant. Um, in terms of taxes, I'm in a country where I'm on a visa where I don't have to pay taxes for a while, so that also has its benefits. And the last country that I lived in, no taxes either. So you need to plan these things. You need to go to countries where you get tax breaks.
Yeah. Or
But
tax
still,
breaks.
yeah. So yeah. So for me, no accountant for now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And let's see. Charles asked, how do these companies trust you all enough to give you all these contracts? And do you have a portfolio, both of you?
Okay, so let me just start with this. Um, the best kind of clients you can get are based on referrals. Trust me. People get to trust you more when you're referred from someone that they trust. So they
Mm,
just transfer that trust they have for that person on you. That makes it easier. Okay. But in the case where you're just approaching a company for the first time, the work you've done in the past, your portfolio helps you with that to build that trust. Okay. They would know based on your past experience that this person, and that's something that is hard to get from the start. So if you're just starting, you don't have that much experience to show off. So some you might that's why I said you need to get ready for some rejection because they might not trust you at first. Okay, so
mhm.
you just need to get in the door and then you build that relationship, you get referrals, you get the trust, that's how you keep going from there. Do you have a portfolio? Yeah, I have a portfolio because if I'm approaching a company for the first time, that's what helps me to sell myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Chelsea, do you have a portfolio?
Yeah, it keeps like I don't necessarily have like a portfolio because the nature of my work doesn't. I
Yeah.
mean, we do like case studies, which I'm working on. But I keep some like customer testimonials like on the site and then
Mhm.
like my LinkedIn. But also like the referrals as well. Like you always want like the referral money is the best money, and the best clients to have.
Mhm.
They're the easiest clients to have. But also like in the same way, like if you have delivered good work and you're proud of that work and you have a good relationship with that client, ask them to be a reference for you. Because if
Mhm.
even if this other company is new and don't know you and maybe you don't have the portfolio together yet, but you've got a client they can speak with that will vouch for you, that goes a long ways as well. So I always like to keep like 3 or 4 clients like that I've already asked them even before I need them for me in the future if needed. Most of them are happy to do it with a heads up. So you'll have they've already agreed to it. So when it comes around that you need a reference, shoot them an email, and they're more than happy to usually do it if you've done your job and they're happy with it.
Okay, so there is definitely ways to build up your clientele, whether it's starting off and offering to do work for free, or finding a platform like Upwork or Fiverr and being able to take on smaller projects and then using those clients as a reference, seeing if they can write on your LinkedIn a testimony about the work that you've done, or if you're able to share it on your website. These are just ways to start building up your clientele, and then things start to spread. If you're doing excellent work, people are going to tell other people about the work that you're doing. So just be able to see the bigger picture of what you're doing and know that even if you start off doing smaller projects, that you have the potential to grow your business and to take on multiple projects, whether it's small or a bigger project. So yeah, this has been a really great live. Definitely touched on a lot of good points when it comes to freelancing. And then, from freelancing, you can pivot into becoming a digital nomad because you don't have the same obligations that you do if you were to be an employee for a company. Many times, companies won't allow you to go abroad for tax reasons. But since you're a freelancer, they're paying you in full, and you have to worry about the taxes on your own. So that's another reason why there's another benefit to becoming a freelancer. Before we end the live, I want to know where folks can find you and connect with you, if they want to see some of the work that you're doing or ask you any questions or just connect with you because they think you're doing incredible work.
Yeah, so I can be found on LinkedIn. Feel free to message me anytime. It's my most active social media. And it's linkedin.com/Chelsea on demand.
Okay. Do you mind putting that
Happy
in the
chat.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I will share this with you all. If you want to connect with Chelsea, here's her LinkedIn. And Yomi, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, same thing. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com/ sorry, let me just come. I'm going to send it to you, and then you can post it. I'll be easier. One sec.
Yeah. And it would be great to connect with both of them on LinkedIn. You start engaging with their posts, and people will also they will see you, and that can help you find opportunities as well. Okay. All right. And here is Yomi's LinkedIn. Irene, I feel you. I'm ready to get started as well. So we do have a couple people that are freelancers or ready to get started. Leona said that she was a freelance filmmaker, and she agreed about how important it is to stay current with the skill set and to have attorneys on tap. So yeah, definitely make sure you have an attorney, an accountant, and connect with people, network, so that you can find opportunities. And you can also learn what other people are doing to get the opportunities that you might be interested in having as well. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to end the live. Thank you all for coming out. I enjoyed talking with you, Yomi and Chelsea. You dropped so many gems. If you missed some of the live, you can watch the playback on Facebook or YouTube, and make sure you share with a friend. Sharing is caring, and I know that many people are looking to pivot into freelancing. So thank you both for coming out and for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you, Cam. Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
me.
having us.
Thank you.